Hi there, my name is Jack Wallen, and I'm here to talk to you about something that has, well, it has particular meaning to me and a lot of other people. And right now, in this current political environment, it is very much a heated topic. And it is one that is, well, let's just say it's put a lot of people in danger. A lot of good people, I should say. Now, let's just get to it, okay? What I want to talk about is non-binary. What is it? Well, I'm not a psychiatrist, not a therapist, not a sociologist. I'm not any of those. I've not studied any of those things. But I'm human. I'm a human with a lot of experience. Partially because, well, I'm in my 50s, so just by design, I've experienced a lot of things. So let's talk about non-binary. I'm going to try to explain what it is to you in a number of different ways, in ways that hopefully you can understand, because let me just be transparent here for a moment. I recently came out as non-binary, and it's not something that's just happened to me over the past few months. It kind of started when I was about 5 years old. I'm not going to go into the specifics of how I knew when I was 5 years old that something was different about me. And now I know something's different about me. Actually, there's a lot of things that are different about me. But this one in particular is of importance. So let's talk about music. Let's talk about the heat kicking on because it's winter and it's still cold. Here it comes, here it comes. Maybe you won't hear it, I don't know. Let's talk about music. Okay, so when I was a little kid, when I was a child, I fell in love with music very early on. And I remember back then, music was pretty much categorized into rock, pop, country, classical, jazz, and Motown. And then as time went on, we added reggae, we added electronic, we added funk, we added grunge, we added metal, we added other different genres. And then something pretty cool happened. Those genres started to split off into subgenres, right? You would have thrash metal, death metal, metalcore, math rock. You would have folk grass, funk grass. And we're at a point now where there are so many musical genres that I cannot keep up. But here's the cool thing about it. Those blending and melding of genres gave birth to bands like Primus. If I say, what genre is Primus? How would you define them? Rock, alt-rock, metal, funk? They kind of exist in this nebulous zone between genres. Same thing with like Bela Fleck and the Flecktones. Bela Fleck and the Flecktones is a band that was created by one of the greatest banjo players of all time. And if you listen to it, you would be hard pressed to define the genre. It's not bluegrass. Not bluegrass at all. Especially when you've got Victor Wooten playing the bass in the way he does, because he is so funky. So what is it? You don't know. And here's the thing. Why define it? Why spend so much time defining what Bela Fleck and the Flecktones is, what Primus is, their music? And that's the beauty of it. No matter how many genres there are, It's all under the umbrella of music. And it's all wonderful. Right? Right? You probably have bands that you listen to right now. Think about it. Take a moment and think about the bands that you listen to the most. And then try to define their genres. Of course, there are some bands that are obvious. But let me ask you something about this. And this is something that I hold true to, and I have since I was a kid. I firmly believe that the Eagles are a country band. I don't think they're a rock band. I think they're a country band. Why? Steel guitar. Steel guitar and themes. And just the sound, their general sound is not rock. Now, you're going to argue that with me, and that's fine. That is great. We probably will not come to a mutual conclusion as to whether or not the Eagles are rock or country. And there are plenty of other bands that fall into that same type of category where they're like, well, they're pop, but then they're rock, or they're rap, or they're rock. There was a great band, I wish I could think of the name of it, but Ice-T fronted a metal band. What was that band's name? I can't think of it right now. Somebody out there is going to tag me or post a comment and they're going to know what the band's name is, but right now, off the top of my head, I'm drawing a blank. But it's a metal band fronted by a rapper. It's awesome. It's awesome. And there was a band in Indianapolis called Birdmen of Alcatraz. They were amazing. And they were funk, they were rock, they were metal, they were jazz, they were rap, they were hip hop, they were everything. But most important, they were glorious. I went to a show of theirs once, and they had just finished one of their amazing songs, and someone in the audience, is a very, very small, it's like a bar. Someone in the audience yelled "Freebird," as people are wont to do. So I can't remember who started it first. I think it was the singer started singing Freebird. And then the guitarist joined in. And then the bass and then the drummer joined in. And essentially what they did was they created a funk version of Freebird, and it was incredible. But it's music. It's all music. It is a spectrum of music. And on that spectrum, there are so many different genres. Some of them cross-pollinate. Some of them are isolated. Some of them are over here on this end of the spectrum. Some of them are over here on the spectrum. And here's what I think. I think there's classical music over here, and there's thrash metal over here. And in between, there's all sorts of other genres. That's how I see it. Now let's talk about religion. Whoo! What a segue! At one point, now I am not a religious historian in any way, shape, or form, okay? So bear with me. If I'm wrong about something, please tell me. But I would assume at some point in the history of time, there was one religion. Somebody said, hey, we need a moral guidepost. We need something to lead us in a way that not only makes sense, but helps us all to be good people. So, religion. The generic term, religion. There's a church, and over the front door it says religion. And then at some point, somebody said, hey, I like this idea, but I think there are better ways to do it. And then there was another religion. And then there was another religion. And then there was another religion. Until we have like Catholicism, Methodist, Baptist, Southern Baptist, Unitarian, Judaism, Hinduism. They go on and on and on and on. Church of Satan, atheism, agnosticism, Buddhism. Although Buddhism really isn't a religion, but you get the idea. So they are all religions, right? And there's a big old spectrum that they live on. There are some religions that are ultra-conservative, way over here. Actually, let's put these over here because this is my right hand. So we'll put all the ultra-conservative religions over here, and over here we have the liberal religions. That's not a political statement. That's not politics. This is just religion. There are some religions that are conservative and some religions that are liberal in their beliefs and in their acceptance of other people. Religion, spectrum. Music, spectrum. See where I'm going for? You see? Okay, let's talk about gender now. Woo! We made it. There are a lot of people out there, and I am in no way, shape, or form saying that anybody is wrong. That's not my jam. But there are a lot of people out there that believe that there are two genres, two genders, male and female. And then there are cultures that predate the United States by far, that believe that there are a lot of genders. I can't remember the culture, it might be Aztec, or some other culture believes that there are 16 different genders. 16. It's a lot of genders. I firmly believe that gender is a spectrum. How do I say that? Why do I say that? How can I believe such a thing? Well, let's be practical about this, okay? You probably know certain people in your life. Let's look at the male side of things, okay? You probably know people in your life, men in your life, that are really, really masculine. Right? You know the type. I'm not saying that they're bad people. I'm not slamming anybody. I'm just saying that there are people out there that are really, really masculine. And then you probably know men who are not really, really masculine. If you know me, if you've ever interacted with me, you know that I do not in any way, shape, or form fall under that label of masculine. I'm just not. Never have been. Not at all. And you know men in your life who probably land sort of on the other side of the spectrum, that are more feminine. And then you probably know men that are right here in the middle. Right? Let's talk about women. You probably know women. You probably know some tomboys out there, right? Tomboys? Yeah. There are women out there that are masculine. There are women out there that are feminine. There are women out there that they're very masculine. There are women out there that are very feminine. And then there are women that are right there in the middle. It's all a spectrum. Now, when people ask me about me, I am the authority on me. No one out there in the world is an authority on me but me. There are people in my life that say, I know you better than you. No, you don't. I am the authority on me. For all of my life, I have never felt masculine and I've never felt feminine. I have always felt somewhere in the middle. There have been points in my life, especially within the last 10 or so years, where I did not in any way, shape, or form want to associate with the male gender, because a lot of times, and you've probably experienced this, a lot of times the male gender is just embarrassing. There are days I wake up and I'm like, I am so ashamed to be a part of the male gender. Especially when this whole incel thing came out and the toxic masculinity thing came out. I don't want anything to do with that. Nothing at all. I would rather be called a sissy feminine than to be toxic masculinity. That's just the truth. I live in the middle. Just Jack. And I have traits of both genders. It's just the way I was born. I can't help it. Believe me, I've tried. I have tried. I've tried to say, you know what? Let's just live over here. Let's just get rid of the confusion. Let's just make life easier on ourselves, and let's just kind of take a little left turn over here to masculinity and see how that feels. And inevitably, it's uncomfortable for me. I can't do it. I don't have that in me. I don't have that ability to just be masculine. I don't have a violent bone in my body. I'm empathetic. I'm emotional. I care about people. I care about the way I look. If you go up and I have 2 closets in my office where I pretty much store all my things. I have 2 closets. One of those closets is filled with male clothes, and one of those closets is filled with my clothes. That's how I describe it. I have male clothes and then I have my clothes. I'm sure you can put those 2 and 2 together. I do my fingernails. I don't have them. I've got some base coat on right now, but I didn't have time to finish it today. But look at my hair. And the way I see it, there is absolutely nothing wrong with me being me. I am truly honest about who I am. And there have been periods of my life that I've been ashamed of me. I have been ashamed of what I am and the fact that I don't exist on either end of the gender spectrum. And that, and for the longest time, I didn't have a term for it. I just always said, I'm just me. I'm just me. That's it. And it wasn't until recently, with the help of my therapist, that I said that I was able to go, I'm non-binary. That's the only way I can describe who I am. Because I don't feel comfortable on one side or the other of the gender spectrum. I feel comfortable right in the middle. Because that's where I've existed all of my life, since I was about 5 years old. And I can still remember to this day that moment when I was 5 years old, when it sort of clicked in my head that said, you're not normal. You're not like all the other people around you. What is up with this? Here's the thing. And listen well. The true measure of a human being is the kindness in their heart. It is not what they present on the exterior. It's what's inside. And if you are inauthentic to what's inside of you, then you're lying to yourself. And you're lying to the public. Now, I know how scary it is. I'm really cold, I'm sorry. I just happen to decide on this term for myself at a time when there are a lot of people out there who would want to do me harm simply because I do not define myself by what's down there. And that's sad. I don't define, if you happen to be one of those people, know this. I don't define you by the truck you drive. I don't define you by the fact that you have rifles in the back of your truck. I don't define you because of the music you listen to or the clothes you wear. I define you by the kindness that's inside of you. And from my perspective, you are either kind or you're not. And if you happen to, remember we talked about the religious spectrum, if you happen to fall on that religious spectrum anywhere, and you are not kind, you're a hypocrite. Make space for us, just like we make space for you. I'm not asking for much. I'm not saying, you know, you need to treat me this way. You need to call me by these specific pronouns. That's not something I've ever concerned myself with. I was joking with somebody the other night, and they were talking about, well, what pronouns do you want to use? And I said, well, let's go with he, haw. And that was not me making fun of anything. That was just me saying, I don't care. He, whom? I don't know. I mean, I'm still me. I mean, maybe that's my pronoun, me. I don't know, I'm just kidding. But seriously, if someone is being their authentic self, and that authentic self is not harmful to anybody else, and even better, if that authentic self empowers that person to be a better human being and to spread kindness, then that person should be celebrated. It has been my modus operandi for years, for decades, to be kind, to spread kindness, just like my father did. And my kindness right now, and one of the reasons why I decided to actually finally say to the public I'm non-binary, is because there are a lot of people out there who are struggling with this same issue, and they are scared to death. And I thought, I'm going to add my voice to the collective so that it might hopefully help someone else come to grips with who and what they are, and give them the strength and the courage to accept themselves. That's what this is all about right here, right now. If you are struggling with this concept of gender, please know that you are not alone, and that you can reach out to people and say, I'm confused. Can you help me? And hopefully you've reached out to the right person and they will help. So please, you might be one of the lucky members of society who is very binary. But you have to understand that those of us who are not struggle with this. And it is taken me 50 years to finally go, okay, this is who I am. And I'm okay with it. I'm comfortable with it. I'm not ashamed of it. Because I was for a very long time. But regardless, whether I'm binary or non-binary, I am me. I am still me. I am the same me that existed before I said, I'm non-binary. Life's not easy for most people. And then you add a bit of gender confusion into the mix, and life gets even harder. Until you can finally say, you know what? I'm not going to fight it anymore. This is who I am, and I'm going to be proud of it. And that's where I am. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of this. And even though it's been a struggle, and even though it probably will be a struggle, and even though I will probably, who knows who will come out of the woodwork to say bad things about me. And if they want to, that they have every right to. But before you say anything bad about me or anybody else that is facing this same issue, get to know them first. Ask them. Be curious. Hey, Why do you wear those clothes? Why am I wearing my clothes? Because they're comfortable. Because they make me feel like me. Because when I'm wearing the clothes that are typically assigned to what's down there, I don't feel comfortable. I feel unnerved. Just like anybody else. You might feel comfortable in your jeans and your t-shirt and whatever shoes you wear, and that may be your battle armor for going out into the public. And that's great. That is great. But I'm not comfortable like that. It's not me. It's not who I am. Anyway, I don't know if I have helped you understand what it is that I have, this conclusion that I've arrived at, and maybe helped you to understand what non-binary is. I hope I have. I mean, this is somewhat new to me. So I have kind of tried to define it to you in the best terms I know right now, in my experience. And if I've confused you more, I apologize. If I've offended you, I apologize. But I'm not going to apologize for being me, because I'm a good person. I want to do good. And that's really what matters. Anyway, thank you so very much for spending a little bit of time with me here. I know your time is precious. I know sometimes you don't want to hear what I have to talk about, but that's what the stop button's for. Anyway, thank you again. Thank you, thank you. And for those of you who accept me for who I am, an extra thank you. I hope that you and everyone you know and love have a wonderful, wonderful day.